Production funding for QED with Dr. B is provided by
Battelle cares about STEM because it was part of our founding. Gordon Battelle, our founder, believed in building an institute that would actually better society through the use of science and technology. And this year we're going to hit a goal of 1 million students a year that we'll be able to impact around the country.
American Electric Power Foundation, boundless energy for brighter futures. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
I'm Dr. Frederick Bertley, scientist and President and CEO of COSI. Welcome to QED with me, Dr. B. Let's talk about science.
Today we're talking about the future of energy. Researchers spend a lot of time, money, and effort to study reliable and efficient energy sources.
And the US government funds a ton of different research around energy, but they also do research themselves. So we went to the Oak Ridge National Laboratory in Tennessee to see some groundbreaking energy research.
Well, later in the show, we'll look into the future of nuclear energy, the use of biofuels as an energy solution, and even how supercomputers can help us find new energy materials. But first, Dr. B, you had a chance to meet with the director at Oak Ridge National Laboratory.
It was so cool. I spoke to Dr. Thomas Zachariah, the executive director of Oak Ridge National Laboratories in Tennessee, to discover the really cool, groundbreaking research they're doing there. Dr. Thomas Zachariah, thank you for joining us on QED with Dr. B.
Well, thank you. It's such a pleasure.
What is a national laboratory, and how many do we have in this country?
There are 17 national laboratories. It is a system of scientific innovation and research that is unparalleled in the world. We work closely together. We have both complementary strengths as well as great partnership.
How is research at Oak Ridge National Laboratories transforming the field of research and energy?
So Oak Ridge National Laboratories is an office of science laboratory. We take fundamental science and translate into solutions. We work on biology, we work on national security, cybersecurity, computer science. We have amazing facilities, but it's really the people who make it all work. We are home to 6,000 employees of all walks of life with different expertise and experiences. The real strength of a national laboratory is that we work as large teams tackling big, compelling problems. If I were to think about today, the most compelling problems that face humanity is energy transition and climate change. Anything that you want to do requires energy. It's really the lifeblood of modern society. What we are trying to do is to make sure that we continue to provide US citizens and in so doing create companies that are competitive globally in serving energy, but do it in a way that is carbon neutral, that minimizes global warming and climate change.
After listening to Dr. Zachariah, I'm excited to explore some of these different types of energy that they're studying at Oak Ridge. And in our first segment, you got to speak with a scientist who's studying nuclear fusion.
Absolutely. So today, most nuclear power plants work on something called fission. Fission is when a large atomic nuclei actually splits into smaller nuclei, giving lots of energy. But the researcher we spoke to at Oak Ridge National Lab is actually working on fusion, the coming together of nuclei. It still releases a lot of energy, but it is both safer and more powerful. For more on that, I spoke with Dr. Mickey Wade, the director of the Fusion Energy Division of the Oak Ridge National Laboratory. Dr. Wade, so good to meet you.
Good to see you.
Absolutely. Gonna show me some good stuff?
I am. We're about ready to go back to the lab here, show you our pellet lab. I got some glasses here. We got to be safe.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Make our way.
So we're here at Oak Ridge National Labs, where scientific research is searching to answer some of the greatest questions in the world. And specifically, we're here talking about energy. How has Oak Ridge National Laboratory transformed our understanding of research and the future around energy?
We're looking at future ways of doing energy. We're doing battery research. We're doing biofuel research. We have a whole division devoted to how do we do nuclear energy better. But my division is fusion energy, and that's where we're trying to take this power of the sun and the stars and bring them here to Earth to make an inexhaustible source of electricity for the future.
So let's just begin from basics. What is fusion?
Fusion is a nuclear process in which two atoms, small atoms, come together and they make a larger atom. When you do that, you release a lot of energy. Per gram of fuel, you release 1,000,000 times as much as you do when you're burning a piece of wood. And so you have a source of energy that's enormous. And this is how the stars, the sun, all of those were formed through this nuclear fusion process. We're just trying to capture that here on Earth and make electricity out of it.
Let's unpack that. I mean, why is it so hard to develop that so we can use it for everyday applications?
This process only occurs when you get the atoms to a very, very high temperature, like the sun. And so we have to recreate that environment here on Earth. We can't just put it in a vessel and say heat it up with a microwave. We have to actually create plasma. A plasma is where you just take a gas and you heat it up really high temperatures. And what happens is the electrons pull off from the atom. And so you get this gas of ions and electrons. And this gas of ions and electrons have this interesting property that they follow magnetic field lines. So if we create a magnetic bottle, we can confine those ions and electrons as we heat them up to very high temperatures. They stay inside the vessel, and we can just heat them up until fusion occurs.
So we can actually heat up these ions and electrons in a plasma so hot that they might get to the temperatures of the sun, but as long as we wrap it around with a magnetic field, we can contain that energy so it's not harmful to us?
That is absolutely right. That temperature is really hot because we have to get there to do fusion.
So we're here in the pellet injection lab. What do you specifically do in this lab space right now?
So one of the things we're trying to learn how to do is how to sustain a very long pulse fusion. Like the sun burns forever. We have to do something like that in the lab for a very long time. And what's really important about that is how well we can fuel it, how we can get the wood into the fire to keep it going forever. So we have this very hot plasma. We got to get fuel inside that. How do you do that? I mean, everything will just melt as it gets closer. So what we do in this lab is we've developed technology where we can take hydrogen and freeze it to very, very cold temperatures. So almost the coldest temperature you can get to on Earth.
Okay.
And we then accelerate that pellet into this plasma, and it will, because it's so cold, it will take some time for it to disintegrate, and it can fuel the plasma. In this chamber here, we form the pellet. Looks sort of like this. A gas pressure tube behind it pushes the pellet, accelerates it up to 300 meters per second into that chamber.
Can you show me?
Yeah, I can show you. In this video is the pellet coming out of a tube. And in this case, we've intentionally broken up the pellet before it gets to the end of the tube. And what you're seeing in this video is those high-speed fragments coming out and entering into the plasma.
So what happens after those high-speed fragments enter the plasma?
So in this particular case, we're using this to rapidly fuel the plasma. We're trying to keep it from causing damage to the vessel. We're injecting the pellet and we're cooling it off really quickly, and that will just cool the plasma off, and then it won't hit the walls and melt them.
Can you talk a little bit about ITER?
Yeah, so ITER is this large international collaboration. This is a collaboration amongst most of the major countries of the world. They are building it in France, but the U.S. Oak Ridge National Lab is the lead lab in the United States for in-kind contributions. Its goal is to produce 500 megawatts of energy for 400 seconds. And so you would think about that, that might not seem like a lot, but the 400 seconds is enough to make sure all the subsystems have gotten to a steady state and they can operate reliably for very long pulse. And 500 megawatts is getting very close to what you need to actually turn that power source into a power plant. A typical nuclear power plant is like a gigawatt, so 1,000 megawatts. 1,000 megawatt facility supports a city running full blast, right? I have every house electrified, every business electrified. And so ITER would be capable, ITER class, a little bit bigger, would be able to do that. What's interesting about that, though, is that in creating that 1 gigawatt of power, you only need 3 little liter bottles of fuel. Whereas for a coal plant, you need 80 railloads of coal every day to do the same thing. And so in fusion, you would do that with 3-liter bottles each day. The problem with carbon is it's producing a lot of waste at the same time, whereas fusion, you're burning all of that fuel up and you have very minimal waste.
Best guess, when do we think we'll have fusion technology available?
Technically, there's no reason we can't be ready in 15 years. If there is an enormous influx of investment and new people into the area, we could do this in 10 years. I think the future of fusion is extremely bright. The beauty of fusion is that there are no greenhouse gases, has very limited long-term waste disposal that you have to deal with. It has a fuel that, by conservative means, is available for the whole world for 15,000 years. If you go to more extreme means, for millions of years. And so it could be that inexhaustible energy source for mankind for the future.
Such a pleasure to chat with you.
Awesome. Thank you.
What stands out to me here is that we could have a safe and efficient energy source in just a few decades.
You're absolutely right. This energy research has impacted so many industries, from agriculture to the automotive industry to transportation to computers.
And there are actually some scientists at Oak Ridge that are using supercomputers to study energy. So Dr. B, just how fast is a supercomputer?
We're talking about very, very fast. A supercomputer is basically many computers linked together to give you hyper-fast computational speed. We're talking about millions and millions of times faster than your average computer. And Oak Ridge National Labs has some of the fastest computers ever made. They have the Summit, which used to be the fastest computer in the world, and they outdid themselves now with the Frontier computer, which is definitively the fastest computer on planet Earth. And for more on that, I talked with Dr. Valentino Cooper at Oak Ridge National Labs. Dr. Valentino Cooper, thank you for joining us on QED with Dr. B.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
You got it. So this show is about energy. So what specific aspects do you look at in energy?
We're very much interested in what I like to call the electron economy, right? So how do we move electrons? How do we create electrons and store those electrons? So you can think of things like solar cells. Those are important materials that capture sunlight that we then use as electricity. We also have materials that we can use to convert that electricity into something that we can store it and use it at another time. So we can take that electricity and either store it in a lithium-ion battery, or we can convert it to something like a fuel, like hydrogen, that can then be used in a fuel cell in cars.
So it's safe to say you study materials at the atomic level to inform us about solutions at a larger scale. Talk about how your research at the atomic level can actually impact on a large scale in terms of energy solutions.
So, as you know, everything around us is made of atoms, right? And what we really are trying to do is understand how to rearrange these atoms in a way that we can either store electricity or use them to convert something from one form to another. If I take certain elements and I put them together, what happens to that material? Can that material be a more efficient solar cell? Can that material store more electricity? Can that material convert mechanical stress into electricity? And so a lot of what I do actually comes down to materials that do that kind of conversions, which are referred to as piezoelectrics. So these are materials that can convert mechanical stress into electricity or vice versa. You can use electricity to change the shape of the material. A very good application is naval sonar. You send out a sound wave, it bounces off a structure, say a dolphin, and it comes back and it hits the piezoelectric, and it can then convert that sound wave into something that you can see on screen. Another very prominent application of piezoelectrics are ultrasound images. These are the type of materials that you use to actually see a baby in utero before it's born. The other way we can use piezoelectrics for energy applications is to use the reverse effect. So we apply a little bit of electric field and we can change the shape of that material. And in fact, this is what is used in diesel engines to control the fuel to gas ratio. So you can have very precise control over how much fuel or how much diesel you're delivering.
Tell us about your latest research.
My latest research, now we are looking at the cathode materials in batteries. A lithium-ion battery has a cathode and an anode, so a positive side and a negative side. And what we're trying to understand is what happens to that positive side as we charge and recharge our batteries. What can happen is when you take the lithium out of your cathode, it can transform into something that you just cannot put the lithium back into. And if you can't put the lithium back into it, then you can't recharge it, right? And so that's when we start to have to throw away the battery.
Got it. So your work is looking at how to make batteries retain more energy for a longer period of time and make batteries more efficient at being rechargeable.
Yes. How can it prolong the life of my battery?
How do you use computers in your research, and just how cool is it to actually have the fastest computer at your fingertips?
Frontier is really a level up of all the computers that we've seen before. Now we can actually model systems that are much, much larger. So the method that I use actually is based on understanding what the electrons in a material are doing. When I started out research, we were looking at systems that only had somewhere around 100 atoms. But now with a machine as large as Frontier, we can look at things that are 1 million atoms. So one of the things we really want to understand is what is the most stable structure of a material. And so what we do in our simulations is we start off with a guess. We have a system and we put atoms in a certain place. But because of the way the atoms and the electrons interact, that may not be the most stable structure. And so what we try to do is understand, if I start off with this particular configuration of atoms, what is the actual preferred structure? Where do those atoms want to be? And then once we know what that structure is, we know what the electrons are doing. So we can tell you, is this a material that, for example, can be used as a catalyst where you can use it to convert one form of energy to another, or to have a high capacity battery? Is it a material that we can use as an efficient solar cell?
Sure. That's interesting. So it's almost like you had a 10,000 piece puzzle, and you had the 10,000 piece puzzle pieces all around there. And we can take our time as humans to try to systematically put 1, 2, and 3 and build that. Or you can put those 10,000 pieces in a supercomputer and they can simulate all the possible outcomes.
That is exactly right.
What's next on the horizon for your research?
For our research, the next thing that we're looking at is actually the material that goes between the batteries. In most lithium-ion batteries now, between them you have a liquid. Unfortunately, that liquid is not a very good barrier. And so what can happen is that your lithium can start to form little bridges between your positive side and your negative side. When that happens, it causes a short. So that means instead of your electrons going through your circuit to, say, your light bulb to turn it on, it goes through your battery. And so then you never see your light bulb turn on. The other danger in that is it's a flammable liquid. And so what we're looking at is what type of solid materials could we put in between there that would prevent that dendrite formation and would be a lot more stable or less flammable than those liquids. And so we're now looking at polymers that can go between those materials.
How is it to work at the Oak Ridge National Laboratory?
For a person like me that models materials on a computer, I get to meet everyday scientists that are actually making these materials. So I get to see how the things I predict can actually be made in the real life and how they work. And I get a little bit of feedback, right? They tell me whether I'm wrong or whether I'm right, and I just love that experience.
Dr. Cooper, thank you so much for being on QED with Dr. B.
Thank you for having me. I had a great time.
Absolute pleasure.
Listening to Dr. Cooper, it's amazing what supercomputers are capable of. I didn't realize how important they were to the research of energy.
Simply put, we're talking about the need to process copious amounts of data, and supercomputers allow us to do that in a time that makes us efficient.
Well, we've talked about nuclear energy, piezoelectrics, and batteries. Next, we're exploring biofuels.
That's right, Diana. And for more on that, I had the chance to talk to Dr. Carrie Eckert at Oak Ridge National Labs. So first of all, what is a biofuel?
A biofuel is a fuel that is derived from a living thing. So it's going to be from plants or something that is fermented by a microbe such as yeast.
Now, I'm assuming we go to biofuels because we think they'll be either energy efficient or help the environment. Is that right?
Yes. Well, mostly it's towards helping the environment. We really want to get away from the use of fossil fuels.
But biofuels, if they're from something like corn, for example, you still got to grow the corn.
Yes.
You got to farm it. It requires lots of land and water.
Yes.
Growing that product corn is energy intensive in itself, is it not?
Yeah, so currently there are some biofuels that are out there. So we call those first generation biofuels, and that is derived from corn so that you get the sugars from the corn and you feed it to yeast and they ferment it to ethanol. Or you can get biodiesel from oil plants such as soybean. The problem with that is those are on agricultural land that we compete with for our food. And so really we're moving towards what is termed second generation biofuels, so things from different wastes or from plants that can grow in areas where we can't farm. So areas like the Pacific Northwest where it's really dry and arid. So we're looking at being able to utilize those products as feedstocks for the microbes to convert to biofuels.
How do microbes work on these products to give us biofuels?
So in terms of some of those plants, you can't directly feed that to a lot of microbes, but another way you can get at that is you can take the enzymes from those organisms that can break those down into sugars and treat that biomass with it, and the converting it to sugars, and then you can feed it to a conventional yeast. It's pretty intensive and it's not cheap, and that's why you really don't see that yet.
So tell me a little bit about the research you do in biofuels.
We're working on non-model microbes. So yeast is more of a model microbe. It's been utilized for centuries for the production of ethanol. We've used it to study things such as cancer. There's a lot of genetic tools available. But when you're moving to more non-conventional microbes that have unique capabilities, they don't have those same genetic tools available. So we spend a lot of time here at Oak Ridge developing new genetic tools for these organisms so we can engineer them to make the products that we want.
So speaking of new genetic tools, there's all this buzz around CRISPR. Tell us, what is CRISPR? How does it work? And is that something that you're using?
Yes. So CRISPR is actually an immune system for bacteria. So it was just...
Time out. You just said an immune system for bacteria. Help break that down, because that's really exciting. Bacteria actually have their own immune system?
Yes. So there are viruses out there called bacteriophages that directly infect bacteria, and that can cause issues for the bacteria.
Sure.
So the bacteria generated these Cas systems, so CRISPR-Cas, and so they basically can identify foreign DNA, cut the DNA, and it'll get rid of it and clear it.
That bacteria can use the scissors and cut out that foreign virus DNA and save themselves.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
So we're actually using CRISPR to modify bacteria and yeast in our lab. It will cut the DNA on both strands, and that usually results in a mutation. And so an insertion, a deletion of a few base pairs. So a lot of times when we're doing science, we want to look at deletion of particular genes to better understand what its function is. So when it's not there anymore, what happens? What's the phenotype?
So you're using this great technology, CRISPR, essentially genetic scissors that can cut out DNA. And what you're doing is you're using it to cut out DNA to either remove genes or use it to insert certain genes that you want. What are you trying to select in your genetically modified bacteria and yeast?
So linking a genetic change to an output phenotype. And so in terms of selections, what we can do is if you're making a very toxic compound, but you want them to be able to still grow, and you can select for things that can still grow under those conditions and look at what genetic changes allowed for them to grow better. We've been building very large CRISPR libraries where we can target all over the bacterial genomes.
You're figuring out this whole library of CRISPR tools that can really be useful on all these genetic modification possibilities. With all of that, 5 to 10 years from now, what do we expect in biofuels?
I think in 5 to 10 years, we should start to see things that are starting to come out of this space where they'll be usable. We are moving towards technologies where we can take that ethanol and we can use catalysts with the engineers and convert that to sustainable aviation fuels.
So that's so interesting. Dr. Eckert, you've modified millions of trillions of bacteria by this point in your career. Do you have any examples of how they react after you've modified them?
One great way we can do that is doing the CRISPR interference in those cells, and then we can look in real time. It's basically taking like 5-minute snippets of the population over time. So you're seeing cell division in real time.
So in real time, we're watching bacterial activity as a consequence of the modification you've done.
Yeah, so one of which will be the wild types. It's unedited, so we don't have any changes to it. It's what it is in nature.
So right now we're looking at the regular non-modified bacteria.
Yes. Yeah, and so you'll see it dividing evenly, and so all of the cells are similar sizes as it divides. But in the case of this other video, we also have CRISPR interference happening, and it's targeting a gene called FTSZ that is responsible for basically cell division. If you knock it down, these cells can no longer divide, and they just continue to elongate.
So it's almost like a string-like series
Yes,
of
it's
bacteria.
basically like a snake.
This is really exciting. I look forward to following your research.
Thank you.
My takeaway today is that in the next few decades, we could have a lot of new energy sources. That's kind of exciting, and I can't wait to see where that science goes. Dr. B, what about you?
Well, there's so many great takeaways, but two fundamental ones. Our importance on understanding energy production and energy usage is critical for taking care of our planet. And the second thing that I'm super jazzed about is if we can figure out how to harness energy like the sun, that will solve all of our energy needs forever. That's really cool. And that's QED with Dr. B. That's me. Join us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and we'll see you next time.
Production funding for QED with Dr. B is provided by
Battelle cares about STEM because it was part of our founding. Gordon Battelle, our founder, believed in building an institute that would actually better society through the use of science and technology. And this year we're going to hit a goal of 1 million students a year that we'll be able to impact around the country.
American Electric Power Foundation, boundless energy for brighter futures. And by viewers like you. Thank you.